Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is Brian with E-Factor Outdoors. Today's going to be why we use trail cameras, how to use trail cameras, and then some tips for public land, private land, just some different tips for trail cameras. And also I'm going to be reviewing a trail camera, kind of throw that in there because I've been getting a bunch of Amazon cameras lately and this one kind of sticks out to me, so it's worth mentioning. And I will throw a link in the description below in case anybody's looking to get a cheap camera that's good. So, I mean, why do we use them? It's a game changer. It patterns your deer so you know where to go and when to go. That's half the thing of deer hunting is where to go and when to go. So honestly, it's a game changer. Imagine, back in the day, you're hunting on a field edge or somewhere you can see a long ways, and you see a big buck come into the field at the same one spot 2 days in a row, or you see your buddy or your dad's hunting over here and he says, hey, I saw this big buck, and he keeps coming up this same draw twice in a row. Well, that's, you go hunt there and you kill him. Well, that's what the trail camera is, I've got like 7 or 8 trail cameras hung out on private and public land, and I try to get around to checking them, especially during rut, at least once a week. And man, that really tells me, in October, for example, do I have a daytime buck on camera? That means he's killable, and so I'll try to hunt that area where that buck was moving during the daylight, or just simply on public land, knowing that there's some big ones that use that area or live in that area or pass through there occasionally because you're getting some pictures of them. Versus, I mean, I've got some private land spots that I want to hunt compared to a public land spot, for example. If I got 0 pictures of big bucks, and if I'm after a big buck on that day, I'm not going to go there because there's probably not one there. And it is interesting to know that in my experience, most of the time when I or one of my buddies kills a big buck, even on public land, most of the time we've got his picture. We knew that buck was there at some point, even if it wasn't even the same year, we've had a picture, trail camera picture of him, so we kind of knew he was there. It's also a great way to kind of figure out the age on deer, if you can keep pictures of them throughout the years. So I've got a little list here to talk about. So that's why you use them. How do you use a trail camera? Well, it's somewhat obvious what you would think. Hang them on a beat down trail. I put them on small food plots that I have because I want to know what time of year those deer are using those food plots, and it's just kind of an attraction or a concentration of deer, whether that could be at night when I'm not there or whatever. And I think that's a good chance, a good place to hang a camera. And it's also easy to get to, so you're not disturbing things walking in. You don't want to hang a camera in the middle of their thicket because you'd have to walk through their thicket to get to it. The number one best way that I've ever used a trail camera, and I do it every year, is starting about the 2nd to 3rd week of October. I'll take one of these trail cameras and throw them I always have a spare one or two, so I can throw one. I always have one in my backpack when I'm walking in to hunt, and I'm looking for fresh scrapes. If I find an area that's tore up with scrapes, or there's a big scrape right by a bedding area, I'll hang a camera on it, and man, a lot of times you'll get every buck in the area hitting that fresh scrape over the next week. And it's fun, really. It's a good way to get trail cameras of bucks doing that. Let's go to the tips. So this applies for private or public, but really on public land for the people, hang your camera high up in the tree and aim it down. I actually will carry in one section of a climbing stick, and I'll climb up, 4 foot, and then I'll reach up. So, I mean, I've got this camera up 8, 10, 12 foot in the air, and it's aimed, and I just put a stick behind it, tighten it up to the tree, and it's kind of aimed down. That works great for me. People don't see it, deer don't see it. Now on private land, I won't do that usually because it's a pain to get to them and check the cards. So I will, but I'll still try to hang them if I can, you know, up about head height or more so that the deer don't see the camera. Man, I'm telling you, they will see them. Can't tell you how many pictures I have of deer coming up and sniffing the cameras, and just, you know, they're thinking, what is that piece of technology there? That's not normal. That's not usually out here. So I'll hang them up about this high and angle them down ever so slightly. Test your camera before you leave it every time. I can't tell you how many times I've came back and, I mean, dumb stuff. Like, I didn't even have the camera turned on. Or, you know, somebody walked by it and turned it off for a joke, you know. But more than likely, I didn't turn the daggone thing on. Sometimes I didn't have an SD card in it. Or someone stole it, and I'm not sure. Sometimes the SD cards don't work right in your camera. So that's why in the review video that will be right after this, I talk about always going through the settings on your camera and formatting the card from your camera. That's going to ensure that it's going to work every time. But I'm going to be honest, I don't do that every time because I'm lazy. I've got a little container of empty SD cards, and I just, you know, swap them and go. But when I do swap them, I always turn the camera on, and I'll stand there for a couple minutes, walk in front of it a few times, go up and check it to see if it was at least taking pictures. And all of them, like this one here, it doesn't have a LCD screen. It's just got little numbers and stuff, and it'll tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the one in the review video that I'm going to be doing from Amazon, it's pretty sweet. It's got its own LCD screen where you can actually go back, turn it to setup mode, and go through and look at the pictures of yourself you just took as a test. And you go, okay, this card is working in this camera. I've got all the settings right, and I'm going to turn it on and walk away and feel good that when I come back in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, that it didn't sit out there doing nothing. So that's a really important thing. Another thing is, I guess the last thing, I started doing this once I started getting more and more cameras, and I know guys that have way more than me. You keep a log somewhere on paper, on your computer, whatever. Keep a log of where your trail cameras are. That way you don't forget them and lose them. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and play a series of pictures that I've taken with this. It's a BlazeVideo trail camera from Amazon, and there are so many pictures on this thing that I decided, for time's sake, I'm just going to put the last 100 pictures before I checked it last, and that was on, I think, December 2nd. So, and actually all 100 pictures are in one day. Whatever it was about this day, the deer were moving all day. And I picked this spot to hang the trail camera because while I was hunting, I watched all kinds of deer kind of all heading towards that area, and it seemed just like a good crisscross pattern area where I could hang a trail camera. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to watch hunting and fishing videos and more product review and how-to videos, and click the little bell next to subscribe because that's going to actually notify you when a new video comes out. Thanks, guys. See ya. BlazeVideo trail camera. We're going to put a link in the description below where you can find this trail camera on Amazon. I love the how it's got an LCD screen in there. Also, a great feature is it's got a battery cover so that your batteries aren't falling out. And we're going to run through the settings and set the date and time, and we're going to put it out in the field. I've got the batteries loaded up, and you can see on the bottom is where you put the SD card in. I've got a 16 gigabyte SD card. It's got off, on, and set. So we're going to go ahead and turn it all the way over to set. That's where we're going to run through the settings. The first one is mode, and that's where you set it to video or picture. We're going to set it on picture,
It says language, and it says all different languages. We got it on English. Photo size, it has a setting from 3 to 16 megapixels. 3, 5, 8, 12, 16. I'm setting it to 16. Picture number, it's got 1, 2, and 3. That's when it senses something. Is it going to take one picture, or is it going to go boom, 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 and take 3? I'm setting it to 3. Then we have, it's got the video size, video lengths. We're not going to mess with those because we're going to run it on picture mode, but it's the same thing. If you want to set those, you can set them. Very customizable. There's one called interval, and that's after it takes that 3 bursts of pictures, how long is it going to wait until it's looking for motion again? I'm going to set that to 10 seconds just because I don't want it to take a lot of pictures of the same deer over and over. So it's going to wait 10 seconds, and then that's going to help my batteries. If it just takes a bunch of pictures of the same deer over and over, my batteries will die. Sensor level, I'm setting it to normal. Date and time, date stamp, okay. Timer off, time lapse off, password off. SD card storage, it says okay. Stop saving when full. Yeah, because I don't want it to go back and delete pictures if it gets full, but it's not going to get full because I'm going to check it. Yeah. Format. You always want to format the SD card. So there's a button in there called format. Click OK and go to yes. Please wait. Okay. And that's it. So basically now we're going to turn it off. When we get to the woods, we're going to turn it on, close it up, and hang it on the tree. The only thing I have left to do is put the strap on it that it came with, and we will attach the pictures to this review video. Thanks for watching, guys. There's high quality up to 16 megapixel photos or full 1080p HD video clips. This came equipped with a dedicated large aperture, full glass lens, that just basically means it's going to take great pictures, which we're going to see in our test. For the instructions can say what they want, but our test will show. Says it goes up to 65 foot in the nighttime. With the 38 LEDs up here, and they're no flash LEDs. I don't believe I actually have any black LED cameras. All mine glow red, and so this is going to be great because the deer won't be able to see it as well. Says it's got a 2.4-inch LCD color screen. It's got three options: camera only, video only, or you can set it to pictures and video if you want. We're just going to do picture only for battery saving purposes. It's cold out. I don't want to, if I don't come back to check it in a week, I might leave this here for a month. I don't know. And I want to make sure it doesn't die on me. Says fast trigger time, approximately 0.6 seconds. 65-degree angle, viewing angle. Date, time, temperature, moon phase imprints on all the pictures. That's going to be nice to know. It's great to see pictures of a deer in the daylight and you want to know, well, what temperature was it that day, and this is going to tell you that. Of course, it's waterproof. It supports up to a 32 gigabyte SD card. It does not come with an SD card. It says it's got up to a 6-month battery life on standby. In other words, if it doesn't have to take any pictures. So.